So I recently posted a video about why people feel so lost, especially for you guys, the people that are in their 20s, just like me and Mel, who are navigating next steps in life, growing up and going through the motions of what it's like to be an adult, and it's so scary. I thought I made that first video just based on what I'm seeing on my algorithm, whether it's on TikTok, on YouTube, on whatever platforms you see, and loads of people going through this kind of universal experience, maybe to different levels, different degrees, but everyone's feeling the same. So when I thought about this and reflected about myself, I was thinking, what is the reason I feel this way? I don't know the answer, but I came up with one answer that immediately just turned the light bulb on, and I was like, oh my god, people must be doing this as well. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over why you shouldn't be trying to grow up too quickly. A lot of what I'm seeing online is people just trying to shortcut being a kid, being a teenager, being a young adult, just for the sake of being an adult and being part of the majority, which is you go to work, you pay your bills, you live an average life, you're just surviving, you're just about getting what you want to in life, and then by the time you're in that 30 to 40 range, maybe 40 to 50, where you've kind of got that career capital, your life might start to change a bit more. You might be having stability in your life. And don't get me wrong, we all want stability, we all want change, we all want something more than what we have right now. But I think for me, and maybe just like yourself, it stems from trying to grow up too quickly. Because for me right now, I just want to be a kid again. I want to be a teenager, no responsibilities, work my weekend job, play my games, go to the gym, eat some good food, train, study, that life. And the life is slowly fleeting. And I think for me, I was so infatuated with just trying to be an adult, trying to basically level up in life, and I wasn't doing it the right way, that's for sure. And I've made some really good decisions and steps in my life, but when you go online and you see what other people are doing, you realize maybe you should start to pivot and make some changes just to make sure you're making the best out of your life, because we're only here for so long. And when you want to grow up as quickly as possible, you kind of negate the facts of learning and stumbling through life, and you kind of just want to get there, but you don't know why. So in today's video, I just want to go over some reasons why you shouldn't grow up too quickly, and why if you're in the, I don't know, the early teenagers to early 20s range, this video is so for you, just to give you a bit of an idea about the amazing time in life you're at right now, and why you should start to focus on some of the other things in life that aren't just growing up, because believe me, you don't want to grow up too quickly. So I come up with 10 points I've just carefully thought about and just, wanted to share with you guys on this video, because I'm getting so much content that is simply just this type of content. People sitting down, people talking, people reflecting, and just really being quite deep about their life, their decisions, and maybe helping others. And on the channel, Seek Distractions, that's what we're here to do for you. We're here to help you guys find distraction from your normal life and help change something. So that's why our content is varied. It can be reaction, it can be gaming, it can be us just sitting down, being honest and talking with you guys. So hopefully you appreciate this honesty. And before we get into today's video, make sure you do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get into the first point. So point number one is the innocence of childhood. I see so many people who are in their early teens, being that kind of weird adolescence period where you're trying new things, you're learning about what it's like to go from a kid to a teenager to an adult. You're kind of getting the adult responsibilities, but just very minimal ones, which is a great introduction to growing up. But you have unburdened joy. You can just go out and do stuff. You can have fun. You can literally go out, spend all your money you have as a kid. It doesn't matter. Go do stupid stuff at times. Go enjoy those simple pleasures in life, whether it's literally going after school on a Friday to the corner shop to go buy some snacks, to go play some games with your mates. Do it. Because there will be a time where you never log on and you see your boys again, because you're leveling up in life. You're leveling up on things that matter. And when I was a kid, the imagination and creativity was just all-time high. I was literally going to bed like 2, 3 a.m. and it wouldn't impact me. But I was doing a lot of like creative work and doing a lot of reading and a lot of like journaling. I was literally filling journals every month just of writing and thoughts, and just trying to evolve my mind to a different level. So when I was an adult, I was a bit more, ahead. And that goes from the point of this whole video. I was just trying to grow up, and maybe I was consciously doing it, but I was doing it way too quickly. My life wasn't ready for that. But me today is so thankful for the work I've done as a kid. But it did mean like I didn't have the universal experiences that other people had as a teenager. I wasn't always out drinking, partying, and doing all this stuff. I was literally just at home, just enjoying the peace and quiet and doing a lot of like videos and reading and just building my relationship with Mel. Like we started at 17, so if you're still a teenager or you're kind of like in university, early 20s, like just don't try and grow up too quickly, man. Honestly, there's no time frame on doing stuff in life. I know we have a clock, which is the period of time in which we're alive, but you might as well enjoy the time you're here and do the most you can, because believe me, your normal life and normal job is always going to be there. We have a big decision coming up in our lives, and I think the innocence of childhood is a reason why we're making this decision. So in the next 12 to 24 months is going to be a lot of change, which is good. And just know that is a constant of life. Change is always going to be there, which leads me on to my second point, which is about family dynamics and your family bonds. Because as you'll know, when you get a bit older, you're busy. You're going to spend a lot more time with, you know, your partner, your family, but not your direct family like your mom, your dad, or any siblings you may have, because life gets busy. Monday to Friday, you're working, you're going to the gym, you're focusing on other stuff, you're studying, whatever that is. You just don't have the exact same time, attention, and focus to go to your parents and spend some really good quality time with them. So for you guys, just think about some of the times you're spending with your parents now and thinking, okay, so if you're spending time with your parents right now and just you're thinking, oh, why do I need to do this? Honestly, spend even more time with them, because there'll be a time where you think, oh, I would just love to go and hang out with my dad and mum, you know, go for a lunch and just talk about old times and enjoy those memories again and rehash certain moments. And those dynamics will always be there, but just make sure you really focus on that and don't try and grow up too quickly to the point where your parents aren't as involved in your life. Because I moved out to Mel's house ages ago during COVID, but I talk to my mom and dad every single day. I call them on the way to the gym. I call them literally every single day just to make sure that relationship's still there. I'll see them on the weekend. And this video kind of now is showing you the balance between like what I'm doing now and what I'm doing then, and what I would suggest for you guys to do. Just make sure that, you know, you keep your parents as a very vital pillar in your life and in relationships, because no matter how many friends you make, they're going to come in your life, they're going to come out of your life, but your mum and dad are in your life forever. So make sure you keep those relationships so fruitful and just really strong. Like, I'm so thankful that I still have my parents in my life, and some of you guys watching just might not have that, but that's why I want this video to be there for you guys, whether you do or don't have these things in your life, because just don't grow up too quickly. But the reason I want to say that is just because I don't want you guys to take it for granted. Whether you do or don't have your parents in your life, or you don't have siblings, or whatever those family dynamics are, just don't take it for granted. I beg, honestly. Like, I'm so lucky, touch wood, that I still have my grandparents on both sides of the family. I still have my parents, I still have my sister. Like, that is more than enough. So just realize, like, these people aren't going to be around forever, so don't try and grow up too quickly and be like, oh, my mom and dad are on the other side of the phone call now because, you know, life has gone on. Like, you just have to take these things for what they are and don't take it for granted. Which leads me to my third point about embracing the journey of growing up. Now, it's quite, you know, ironic to be saying about embracing the journey of growing up whilst also saying don't grow up too quickly. But the reason I want to say that is because I think you just need to take your time. Honestly, just take your time with your journey. Like, there's so many great content creators out there that will literally say about, I didn't do anything until I was 26. And I was successful at 35, or whatever the stat is that someone wants to share with you on their anecdotal experiences. It's because it's true. Like, this is genuine advice. People say your 20s are the most important years of your life, which I would ultimately say yes and no. Yes, because of course they're foundational, they shape the future of what your life is going to be like, and whether it's career, professional life, or family life, the decisions you make are important. But on the same side, no, you can mess up this period of time in your life and come back at 30 and go, I've got this experience. I might not have all the money and the success that I wanted to achieve, but I've got a wealth of experience. I've got a wealth of memories. I've got a wealth of just culture and embracing new things. That is more important than going to the job down the road, going through the career path and the ladder of going from one job to another and go da-da-da-da-da-da, just so by the time you're 30, you can have like a certain job because you want a car and a house, and that's what's going to make you happy. That is just crazy to me. Like, ultimately, we all kind of have to do that unless we're fully in a business that makes a lot of money and we're all escaping the matrix. But that is a life we're all kind of destined for to some degree. But that's just because of the way that society is built. So if I was a teenager right now, I wouldn't be rushing towards that. I would literally be enjoying every single day, because one thing I struggle with is enjoying every single day and enjoying the moment, because you're thinking about, what am I going to do tomorrow for work, and how am I going to make these deals or opportunities? How am I going to just survive in life? How am I going to pay for this? How am I going to go? Too many things, way too many things. And I don't even have a kid and a family, and we haven't moved out yet. So imagine when you move out, like the pressure that people have is immense. You just have to enjoy the time you have now, and don't rush into adulthood, because it often leads to you missing out on some of those really important memories or experiences that just teach you how to be an adult person, whether it's being patient, being resilient, or just having that element of self-discovery is super important. Which that leads me on to my fourth point, which is the pressure of modern society. Now, with social media showing people's amazing lives, their perfect lives, a 20-year-old making millions a month, or whatever, it just feels like you haven't achieved as much as you should have, because you're comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy. We all know that. It's just hard not to. It's always in my face. Wherever I go, I see people with their amazing lifestyles. They have the perfect wife and the kids and the house and all these amazing things. I'm just thinking, why on earth do I not have that? It almost infuriates me into action. I'm like, what the hell? Why? Oh, I'm not working hard enough. Like, whatever. Like, I need to get after it, man. Honestly, like, why don't I have that? Because I want that. I desire it so hard. I want to work so hard for it. But what are you going to do? And what I take from this is just simply don't compare yourself to others. Like, life isn't a race. I know people talk about the rat race. That's a whole other concept. And life just isn't a race. Like, the time frames that I'm on with Mel are different to what you're on and what the other person watching this video is going through. So just don't try to grow up too quickly as a result of what you're seeing online and go, I need to have a business that's generating me 15k a month. I need to have a BMW. I need to move out. I need to have the perfect wife. I need to have the biggest house on the best road and do 15 holidays a year, fly private jet, all this stuff. Don't get me wrong, like, that life sounds amazing. There's obviously all sorts of benefits of that, of course, but you can't compare yourself to other people. Like, use them as motivation, but don't use those as a way in which you just think, how on earth am I ever going to achieve this? Use it as motivation to go, I want that, I'm going to work for it, and I'm going to achieve it no matter what it takes. That is what you should do about growing up, but don't do it in the negative way of trying to grow up so quickly to the point where you just think, oh, I'm going to achieve that because that's what is achievable by a 20-year-old, and now I'm 28. I hate my life. That's just negative. You shouldn't allow those pressures into your life. So that leads me on to my next point about the value of just making mistakes and learning from them. So going back to 2 points ago, embrace the learning process of simply growing up and just understanding that you didn't understand what the world was all about until you actually dived in and just made a lot of mistakes. It happened to me. I've made so many mistakes. I've learned so much about politics at work and how to do sales and how to get a client from uninterested to interested to closing a deal. Like, I've gone through these amazing points and stages in life in my professional career so far, but it's just been really hard to ultimately get there. It just took a lot of mistakes, a lot of learning and applying what I've been doing at work and at home and whatever into just figuring it out. And believe me, I still haven't figured it out. Everyone in their 20s has no idea. About 99%, let's just say. I can't say everyone, because there's probably a 20-year-old watching this who has literally got everything to a T. They are on fire with life and they've just achieved everything they want to. And I mean, honestly, bravo to you, because that is amazing. And that's where we all want to be. So kudos to you. I'll take my hat off to you. But just be aware, like, don't try and grow up too quickly with this again, because you're not going to have everything in place. There will be months that are harder than others. There will be days that are just so long, tough, challenging, mentally draining. But that's what life is, and maybe people have to come to accept that over time. I've had to accept it. It's been really hard to really just accept the fact that life isn't always going to be a linear path to the top right corner on the graph. It's never going to be that way. It's a brilliant opportunity right now for a lot of people to just get stuck in, challenge themselves, and find the struggle in normal life, which is just what normal schooling, education, and the system doesn't allow you to learn. And this leads me to a very great point that follows on perfectly, which is living in the moment. It is so hard in the modern world to just live in the moment, because you go on your phone, you're scrolling through TikTok, you're going to YouTube, you're going on LinkedIn, you're going on all these different places where people are boasting about how good their lives are. You're consuming content. I do the same, so don't get me wrong. I know exactly the feeling I'm describing here. You're just always looking at something else never focus on the exact moment you're living in, because in life, all there ever will be is this exact moment. That's all there is. Now, for people who are like, 15, 16, 17, bit older, whatever it may be, who are like, I want to be 25 so bad because that means I can drive, get out of the house, have my own place, have a job, whatever. Like, I understand. I really understand why you want to do that, but simply just understand if you're a teenager, early 20s, in university, not sure what you want to do, whatever that position is, enjoy today, because I wish I enjoyed today about 2 to 5 years ago. I really wish I enjoyed those times more. I kind of took it for granted because I was so focused on that future mission of whatever it is in life, to be the first one to go to uni and do a university degree whilst working full time, and then be the first one to get my own place. That meant everything to me. It still does, and I will achieve it, but it's kind of cost happiness in the meantime of just trying to exist and be happy with existing, because I kind of hate my existence right now to some degree. I don't hate it because I've got amazing people in my life or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like, there's that kind of element of I've grown up so fast that now I'm suffering with the kind of like the lagging indicators of success or like achieving stuff in life, and I just need something new and different in life to go after. Hence why we have the channel. That's why a creative outlet is always so important. Just having your voice out there, getting heard, and just trying to build a community. And whether people are nice or negative to you, it doesn't matter. Feedback is feedback, and you can live in the moment that way and kind of go, I want to achieve X subscribers, so I'm going to go post videos to achieve it. That's the only way of doing it. Whether if you're early in career, just like myself, or you're 23 like myself, or older, just make sure you keep that childlike wonder that you've had as a child, but put it in adulthood. Always ask questions, always be curious, always be a child. Like, I'm probably the youngest person at work, and I act that way. I can be super professional. I can turn it on immediately. I can be the best person in the room. Like, there's no denying it. I could be that person if I like need to be. But the person I am, fun, outgoing, cracks a few jokes, says some controversial stuff or whatever, just to get debates going, and that's who I am. And I think that's the kind of culture that I want to be part of moving forward. So don't be so frustrated that the fact you're the same age or a bit older and you're going through this difficult time. Like, I completely feel the same feelings. Like, I wake up in the bed behind me and I work from home. I wake up with no energy, dread, and I just go, oh, I could cry. I'm like, I don't want to do this again. Like, what's the point? Like, I want to do something else. This isn't meaningful. And you just have to have that across life, the ability to just go, you know what, I'm going to be a child about this, and just put a lot of energy elsewhere in life, and try and move the needle forward where I can, and be really, infatuated with the things I want to achieve in life. It's hard, man. It's so hard. This leads me to my next point about mental health and well-being. Don't overload yourself, because a lot of people can finish uni, but they'll do other things that are just putting too much pressure on themselves and just causes stress. Like, for example, you want to finish uni, so you went to find that job, now you're doing your masters. You still want to go gym and lose weight. You have other things you're training for. You got a wife or kid or whatever that situation is, and that's like, how do you balance this? Like, stress is important in life, because that means either one, you care about it, or two, you're trying to push forward and achieve something. However, just don't overload yourself with too much on your plate, because I'm doing the same right now, and it's almost like crippling because you don't take action. It's a very hard thing to balance, but just honestly, just make sure you're not rushing to that stage now. Make sure you're just growing at your own pace. Take things day by day, week by week. Have a plan in place that basically shows you, in the next 6 months, I just want to achieve this, and put a block out, time it out, and just do it. Don't think about anything else. Just do that piece of work and see what comes of it. And this reinforces my next point about your teen and young adult years are simply for discovery. Like, honestly, if I could go back, I would literally just think about exploring who I am in greater detail. I did a lot of like self-discovery work, and honestly, it has really helped to understand like the kind of person I am, what I want to do in the future, what makes me happy. And I read a lot of books, whether it was psychology or philosophy. I would sit, literally, I can picture it in my head. I sat on a hill with my dog who recently passed away, and we would sit there and read for hours. Whether it was just simply like on a random summer's day, we'd sit there for hours. I'd bring a bottle of water, bring some treats for the dog, and I would just do that. That's one of my core memories. And if you're going through the stage of life where you're definitely unsure, you don't know what you want to do, and the answer will not fall from the sky. I wish it would. I wish someone would tell me exactly what to do to achieve what I want, because there is no defined path. Like everyone's path is different. So when people are at the level that you would love to be, it doesn't mean there's a 100% defined path that makes you get there. There's a way in which you can get there with particular behaviors and achievements, but there isn't like an A to Z achievement guide of how to do it. So if I was you right now, I would just make sure like I'm buying new books, I'm studying about myself, and just doing that kind of self-discovery work about what kind of person am I? What kind of person do I want to be? How do I bridge that gap? That's the point of growing up and growing up. Like that is exactly the whole point of just simply existing. You don't want to go from a kid to a young adult to an adult to a middle-aged person, whatever, just moving across like that. That is scary. Like you need to be moving up linear, as hopefully as directly up as possible, because that means your life is going well and you're achieving stuff. That is what we're here to achieve. Which leads me to my next point about focusing on growth but not perfection. I am a strong believer in perfection just simply doesn't exist at times. Like honestly, think about the last thing in your life that went perfectly well. Like literally, if it went 100% well, you won't be able to name me that, because it's just not possible. Perfect doesn't exist. When it comes to self-development, you have to focus on that growth element of it, not achieving everything and being perfect, because mastery over skills and things in life will come simply with time and putting in the reps. You could argue that, oh yeah, I'm perfect because I've got this and that, and I've achieved that and whatever, and it's like, you're thinking about it wrong. If you were to say, oh, on a 1 to 10 scale, what would you rate yourself? 10 is just not on my scale. It's like always at a 5, because I know I can always do more. And that's the kind of thing you need to implement into your own life, especially as you're growing up, because you don't want to grow up too quickly to the point in which like that period of time that you can self-develop basically just evaporates. So you want to make sure you spend every single day maniacally focused on a particular book, subject, topic, theme, whatever it may be that is important to your self-development, whether it be a particular piece of philosophy that you just want to learn about or read about to give you a different way of thinking, or you want to learn a psychological principle, or you want to learn about something from ancient history. Who cares? Do it. Read it. If I could literally just have nothing to do in my life and simply just exist, I had a certain level of income, or I was like a monk, I would just be reading and studying and just giving myself a greater sense of enlightenment about the world, and basically making myself available for others to pass on wisdom. That would be the ultimate goal, but of course that just can't always happen. The way life is life is set up that way, and I really wish it was. And that leads me to my final point, which is advice for anyone watching this video, which is simply don't rush your life. Don't grow up too quickly. Don't rush milestones. Focus on what matters. And of course, what matters in life, I don't know, because what matters to my life and what is important to me is different from you, from everyone else. Don't get me wrong, you can always think about health, wealth, love, happiness, those 4 key pillars to life, but what actually makes those pillars? Like, is wealth to you having £1 million in a bank, or making 10 grand a month, or achieving a particular level of income because that's exactly what you want? Or is it simply a matter of the wealth of my spirit, because I've got a great family, I've got great people in my life, and they make me feel happy, they make me feel wealthy, you know, like all these different pillars. So just simply don't rush your life, don't rush your milestones, because whether you're getting a job, moving out, being financially independent, just be reminded that these things will just naturally happen with time. Because look at your parents. Honestly, look at your parents. Just say thank you to them, because imagine this, you're growing up, you have a kid, you have a job, you have goals in life or things you want to achieve in life, you still got to go on holidays that you want to do, whatever it may be. Your parents have worked their socks off for you, so don't throw it away. And I can imagine the comment already about someone saying, but they're in a better generation than us, like house prices were lower, salaries are different, whatever. And I agree with you, I really do. Now it's our turn. That's just a natural progression of life, and that's something I had to come to grips with recently, because it's so hard. Salaries haven't increased as much as they did back in the 80s and 90s in proportion to house prices, which therefore means when you try to go buy a place in London, where I live, it's impossible unless you're making 100 grand combined income, and still then you're going to struggle. Imagine telling that to someone in the 80s was like, hey, guess what? In 44 years, if you was making 100 grand, you would struggle in London. They would absolutely laugh at you. They would probably go, what? 100k, bro. In 10 years, that means I could be retired because I have a nice investment fund, I have houses, like multiple, and I'll have rental income. I'd have wealth generated from, you know, being invested in the market. They would be like, what are you? This is an alternative reality. This doesn't exist. This is the reality we're living in today, people. And whether you're watching this and you're based in the UK or based in Australia or in America, South America, and Europe, wherever it may be, you're probably going through similar points in life where you just need some direction. So without further ado, so I hope this video was able to help you give a little bit of direction or just made you feel like you're not the only one. Jump in those comments down below so I can understand if that is something that you're also feeling, and I'll start doing more of these videos. I did post one recently which was talking about why people feel so lost, and it kind of sprung a lot of other ideas. So if people continue to like these videos, I'm just going to keep making them so that we have the normal content and we have this content which is more for just being an open platform to share. Maybe one day we could do a podcast and all that other stuff, but I've spoken enough. So without further ado, if this video really did help you, and I sincerely hope it did, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. My name is Luke. This channel is called Seeker Distractions. We literally make content for you guys just so you can escape from your reality, have a distraction that's positive, creative, whatever it may be for your life and serves you a purpose. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you check out some of our content listed down below, and I'll see you in the next one with Mel. Have a lovely day wherever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.